What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are all having a good start to your week. How are we all doing? What's up? What's up? Get this a little more in frame there. Welcome in. All right, guys and girls, we're going to go ahead and get right into it here. What's up, Sissy? We're going to go ahead and get right into it here. We're going to go over the trades we took today. Unfortunately, I went 0 for 3 today. Not a very good day on my end, but the majority of these entries, apart from the first one, were very tight stop losses and attempts to get a better entry for a rejection back to the downside. Unfortunately, Tesla continued to grind up here, so we got stopped out for a few small stop losses here on the way up. Now, something else I want to talk about that I've noticed since we have introduced these new options contracts, or really these new expiration dates, I traded Friday's expiration today, and the volume on these was ridiculously low. Like, we had 5,000 in volume on these contracts, and that's just not something that you see on Tesla typically. So unfortunately, I think they might be forcing our hand here a little bit into trading these closer expiration contracts. So I noticed that the same days for Tesla had the normal typical amount of volume that Tesla would have. Where, like I said, the Friday contracts on Tesla, they literally had 5K in volume at the time that I was trading them, and that is just absolutely ridiculous. If you guys hear my dog going crazy in the background, you already know what's up. He literally only does this on the Monday night live stream just because I think he knows that you can hear him. But anyways, yeah. So the Friday expiration contracts, unfortunately, are majorly lacking volume. Like on the contracts that I was playing, we typically would have had probably anywhere between like 30 to 70,000 in volume, where, like I said, we only had 5K. Even ending the day, we only had 5,200 on these contracts. So that is pretty bad. And I didn't really want to change the way that I'm trading. I don't want to change just because the market has added in something new. I don't want to just hop on that right away, but they might be forcing our hand here, which is a little unfortunate, but we will see. Obviously, tomorrow's a new day. Maybe these Friday expiration contracts will pick up volume like they typically do, but that I will not know until tomorrow morning. But the first trade we took today on Tesla, it was an entry on this 933 candle right here. I was looking to play this through the 414.65 break, targeting a move down to 414 bare minimum here, and we just ended up bouncing off of that level. So we ended up stopping out on that trade. Took another entry on Tesla here at the 938 candle. So this candle right here, actually, when we flipped from green to red on this candle, we ended up taking a position here, stopping out shortly after at 944 when we started picking up this momentum. And then the last trade of the day was on Tesla at 952. Where is that at? So we took it on this candle right here. This candle started out green, and then we ended up flipping to red, and then we ended up getting bought right back up here. So we stopped out literally at the high of day on this candle. I don't even think we took it at the green to red flip. I think we took it closer to the highs here around 420. So we had, actually, it was closer to like 420.20. So we had like a 20-cent stop loss on this. Nothing crazy. Nothing too bad with Friday expiration contracts, but once again, another just kind of annoying day, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. We move on and we recover from there. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the main point of tonight's lesson, which is the actual charting. So I'm going to go through my watch list from A to Z here, see what I'm liking, see what I'm not liking. There's probably going to be a lot of that, to be honest. But earnings for tomorrow, after market closes, we have AMD, we have SMCI. So I'm going to do this a little backwards from normal, kind of like I did last week, where I'm just going to be making the watch list as we go along, because all these stocks that I have marked here are all the stocks that have earnings for this week that I just don't want to touch. And it's easier for me to just mark those than try and remember every single stock that has earnings. So let's see here. Apple looks like it went pretty crazy all day today, actually. See, on the 1 hour, we have a resistance right here, but let's see where that's actually coming from, because I don't think that actually holds up on the 4 hour. Oh yeah, it does actually. Let's see. So Apple here. Honestly, the high of day from today doesn't look too bad at 270.49. That's probably going to be one I actually am going to skip on for now. If we need to, we'll come back to it, but for now, I think I'm just going to pass. But we'll mark it out just in case it's not snapping where it needs to. Go. Right. How much lost today? About 3K to see. AVGO. And honestly, to see the majority of that came from the first trade. Majority of that came from the first trade. AVGO is interesting, but I don't know that I love the area it's playing into. So I actually like how this looks on the 15-minute. I like this trend that we're going to have to break out of. I like this high of day resistance. We're basically forming a bull flag here. How to manage your positions because you have entered 3 times. They were 3 separate trades, Sissy. I entered, I stopped out. I entered, I stopped out. I entered, I stopped out. They were 3 separate trades. Like I said, we were keeping very, very tight stops on the rejection plays that we were looking for, but yeah, it's not like I was in 3 trades at the same time. Let's see. AVGO doesn't look too bad. Really don't trust this area we're playing into. That really honestly goes for kind of everything right now. The setups are okay. I just don't like the areas we're playing into, because a lot of the areas we're playing into are just straight chop. I'm skipping AVGO for now. Once again, if we absolutely need to, we can come back to it. Coin has pretty much filled its, actually not really. About to say we filled our weekend gap here. Coin could be an interesting one to look at just because of that gap. We never really picked up any steam today, honestly. So yeah, 190.94, which is today's high of day. That's going to be continuing that gap fill from the weekend. So I'll go ahead and put this on here. I like that. I noticed it yesterday. It just wasn't something I was interested in for today, which looks like it ended up saving us some money there because we did not end up seeing really any move at all. So coin looking at the 190.94 high of day for a continuation of this gap fill over the weekend, targeting a move up to the 192 psych level. Then we have room all the way up to 194.08 to fill this gap. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Coin looks good there. I do like that. Really, technically we should have room up to 194, but I'm trying to keep somewhat of a conservative target in between there so I can scale out along the way. But yeah, I think overall, I mean, we really don't have anything in our way until this gap fill. So that's fine. Circle ended up breaking to the downside, which was something else I was looking at today. Let's see. This thing is just making all-time lows, so not exactly sure. Yeah, no, we don't really have any setups here other than just the low of day. But honestly, the after hours setup from Sunday night to pre-market this morning is probably the cleanest setup there. So with that being said, I'm probably going to skip that. DAL. Nope. DDOG. This thing kind of looks like it wants to recover here, except horrible contract volume. So not much for me to do there. Disney had earnings pre-market today. This I would actually be interested in just as a continuation of that momentum from earnings. So 103.75. If we stay down in this area, that's great. If not, once again, this whole entire market that we're in right now is kind of just an it is what it is type of situation. So really, I'm not looking for a whole lot here. But Disney looking at the 103.75 low of day from Monday. This is the earnings low, looking for a continuation of momentum to the downside, targeting a move to the 103 break. And I believe we have a ridiculous amount of room below this, to be honest. Let's see. I want to fact check myself here. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of room down here. I mean, we are playing into, once again, a relatively choppy area. But, I mean, honestly, this whole range right here is an area that I would be paying attention to. But really, below 103.24, we should have room down to 103 pretty easily. Anywhere in this range, though, I would be a little bit cautious. So, yeah. We'll go ahead and adjust this plan here. Move to the 103.24 support on the 103.24 support on the 4 hour, then the 103 break for my final target. Disney doesn't take much of a move for these contracts to pay, so even if we only get a move down to that 103.24 area, that's still going to be a pretty good move on the contracts. Google has earnings when? We have Google earnings on Wednesday after close, so that's out for now. Hood unfortunately has nothing here. I don't believe. Yeah, this thing. Why? These setups that we're getting are just not it, to be honest with you. Hood, if anything, looks more like it's trying to recover right now, but there's not really any levels that I can look at here to comfortably write out a trade plan around it. So if you're just trading just strictly momentum, maybe keep an eye out for that. But setup wise, we don't have anything major there. INTC is ripping after hours. What is this? Interesting. Okay. Let's see. This thing is ripping. honestly, if we set something up, I'm just going to put INTC on a side watch just to be safe. We're going to move down here and go side watch INTC. Ripping after hours, looking for a setup pre-market for a continuation of this upside momentum. There we go. Nothing too specific there, but just something to keep an eye on. You can play Google Wednesday contracts. They won't be affected by earnings. Yeah, Seth, I was thinking about that. That's something that I actually want to check out before I just say, yeah, that's 100% safe, because we've gotten 1 day of info off of those, and I honestly completely forgot to check Google. Levon, it's more based around bounces and rejections. Let's see, where were we at? We were at Hood and then INTC. Okay. KO, absolutely nothing. Meta. Man, we really didn't go anywhere today. This is getting old really fast, if I'm being honest with you guys. Whole going nowhere price action is a little insane at this point. Yeah, I really don't have anything here. I mean, you could try and look at low of day into 700. That doesn't look like the worst thing in the world. Depending on how we set up pre-market, this might be worth a watch here. So I'm going to go ahead and just write out something on meta here, because if we're going to play setups that, well, if we're going to play the best of what we have, I would honestly prefer it to be on something like Meta or Tesla than these randoms like Disney. So Meta, looking at the 703.52 low of day for a break to the downside, targeting a move to the 700 break. Below this, we have room all the way down to the pre-market low from Monday at, what is this? 693.03. Yeah, we've got plenty of room. All right. Meta's looking good. Marvel. Nope. Microsoft. I still really like Microsoft here. Microsoft looks even better than it did earlier. So I'm definitely liking this. I am just going to copy and paste this from this morning's trade ideas, though, because nothing has changed. But anyways, looking at the 421 support for a break to the downside, targeting a move to the 420 break. Below this, I will be targeting momentum. Let's see. These trends have probably changed here. So yeah, we no longer have that 15-minute trend I was talking about. We now have a 5-minute trend lining up at 419.88. But let's see if we have anything bigger here. We got room on the 4-hour all the way down to 415.90. Yeah. Okay, we'll adjust this here. We have room down to the 5-minute trend at 419.88. Then the 4-hour downtrend at, what did I say that was? 415.90. All right, cool. MSTR has earnings, so we'll go ahead and move on to MU here. And of course, this thing is coming back for all-time highs. Might be worth a watch here. We are kind of far away, though, is the only thing. I mean, clearly MU has had no problems moving, but I don't think I'm going to write anything on this tonight. I'm just going to write in the side watch here, MU moving into all-time high. Keep an eye out pre-market. WDC. So see, I will check that out as soon as I'm through my watch list here. NVIDIA, this thing is still just stuck in the same area. It's the case for pretty much everything right now. This is super, super gross. I don't like this at all. There's nothing we can even look at. We can't determine anything off of this. Just, it's been stuck for too long. We got to get out of here soon. Okay, hello, I'm all good. Oracle, this thing is coming back down, I guess, right? Yeah, it came back down today. So I do still like Oracle at the 1 year gap at 154.42. We are quite a ways away from that right now, though. So once again, gonna just keep that on the back burner for pre-market. If we're close, then that's great. If we're not, that's fine too. Vivian, I'm all good. Shop, I'm all good. SMCI has earnings, so I'll pass. No, what are we doing here? Not much. Okay. Let's see, what is this right here? 188. This actually doesn't look too bad. I would be willing to look at this just due to the fact that we are setting up into a pretty major level on the 4 hour here. This is really like our next big support we have until we have about $8 down. So yeah, I like that. Problem with this is going to be contract volume more than anything. So Snow, looking at the 188 support on the 4 hour for a break to the downside, targeting momentum. And really, actually, this is going to be mainly targeting momentum. Let's see. Okay, we've got some trends that give us room here, like that. Yeah, okay, we actually, some of these trends are giving us more room than I would actually expect this to have, but 30-minute lines up about where I would expect this to have room to anyways. Targeting a move down to the 184 support area, where we also have a 30-minute downtrend lining up at 383 or 383, 183.32 for my final target. Beautiful. And then if what I saw from Tesla, yeah, this, I still think Tesla looks like it's trying to make its way back to the upside here. I actually like this this flat top we had at 424.28 as well for a breakout, which actually ended up playing out quite nicely, but I was long gone by this point in time. I would look at Tesla's high of day, because this thing looks like it's trying to recover this whole big sell-off move that we got on Friday. So yeah, I like this. So last but not least here, Tesla. Looking at the 427.15 high of day, where we are forming an inverse H pattern. Looks like we are setting up for a recovery of Friday's sell-off, targeting a move to the 430 break, then the 1 hour downtrend break at 431.11. That looks good. I think if Tesla could just pick up steam, we should be able to get this move pretty easily. I mean, obviously if Tesla picks up steam, we'll get the move easily, but I understand the downside hesitation today. We just really weren't going anywhere too aggressively while I was around, at least. It was mainly just grinding back and forth here. So, yeah. That is what I'm interested in for Tesla. I don't think I'm going to be too interested in Tesla downside until we get at least a recovery to that 430 area. So yeah, that's what I've got for my watch list. So see, you wanted me to check out WDC. Let's see what this is. Contract volume is not great, but it's also not horrible. So that's a good start at least. I mean, the only thing that I would have here would just be the high of day from today. Other than that, I would wait till probably 300 before I would be interested in anything. So I don't know if this is a stock you're familiar with, Sasi. Personally, it is not a stock that I am familiar with. So if you think that these high of day plays are worth taking, or not just high of day, you know, same day, but high of day resistance that we set today that you'd be taking tomorrow. If you think that's worth it to take on this stock, if you think this stock can provide that kind of move, then sure, go for it. But I don't know. I would keep an eye on it at least. I'm just gonna throw it in the side watch because at this point, literally nothing is gonna be worse than the price action we've already seen. So we'll just throw this in the side watch here. Looking at the 275.70 high of day from Monday for a breakout. We are forming a bull flag, targeting momentum on this stock because I am unfamiliar with the aggressiveness of the move. Targeting momentum on this stock for a scalp because I am unfamiliar with the aggressiveness of the moves. If we get clean volume / follow through, I would look for a move into the 278/280 break. Boom. All right. So coin, we're looking at upside. Disney, we're looking at downside. Meta, we are looking at downside. Microsoft, looking at downside. Snow, looking at downside. Tesla, looking at upside. INTC, this is still up in the air. MU, also still up in the air. And then WDC, I would be looking at upside. So yeah. That is what I've got watch list wise for tomorrow and possibly the rest of the week, depending on if and when we see these plays. So let's see here. We've got about 25 minutes left of the stream. So if you guys want to turn the rest of this into a Q&A session, feel free to ask your Qs and I will A them. Also, for those of you guys that are not in the Discord, if you guys want to join the Discord, click that first link in the description. Crazy, ridiculous deal. Do it now because that link is going to be gone very, very soon. So, yeah, any stragglers that haven't done it yet, now's your probably last chance. All right. Do we have any questions at all? TSM. TSM stocks name. Is that something you want me to look at, or is that just a statement? So this doesn't look bad at 347.21. I don't think I would be interested anywhere before then, though. Once again, though, it's the volume that I'm more worried about than anything. I'm not too worried about the stock itself. I'm more worried about the options volume. So that's really my main worry on every stock that I'm looking at, and every stock that I skip over in the watch list. It's because I just know we got a 99% chance we're gonna have not enough volume to trade safely, at least. I mean, if you're trading one contract, you can get away with trading pretty much anything, but spreads are going to be wider the lower the volume is. You know, especially when it's stocks that have like a couple hundred in volume. I never want to be in a position where it's like I have to buy 100 contracts to get full position size, and then there's only like 200 or 300 in volume for the entire day. It's like, all right, at that point, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get out, if I can get in the first place. All right, ladies and gents, what's my favorite stocks? My favorite stocks to trade: Tesla, Meta. I think honestly, Hood is up there now. Hood is one of my new favorites. I wish this thing wasn't just digging itself into the ground, but Hood is one of my new favorites. Nvidia used to be a top favorite, but this thing has just been garbage lately. I mean, apart from what, Friday or Thursday last week, it's just been complete nonsense price action. But Tesla, Meta, Hood, I would say AVGO is probably up there too. Really, right now at this point in time, nothing is my favorite. I hate the price action that I'm seeing on pretty much everything. So if you asked me within the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, what my favorite stocks to trade are, I would say none of them. I would actually say MSTR is probably on that list overall as well. MSTR is one that I enjoy when we have setups on it. I don't know, the list is getting smaller and smaller because I used to really like trading a lot of these stocks, and now they're all just like dying out in volume. So seems like really just the big hitters are going to have to be my go-to answer for that. Any more questions here? If not, we can go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll let you guys get back to the rest of your Monday nights. But once again, here is the watch list for the rest of the week that I'm looking at. You know, obviously there's going to be more things on there, and I post those every night and every morning in the Discord. So if you guys are not in there and you want to join up, once again, click that first link in the description, and I will see you all in there. But I'll talk to everybody at pre-market review first thing in the morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for coming out and sticking around. I will see you all